Hello, very nice to see you again. Today I'm here at a very special alpaca cafe in Sansu. Alpaca and goat in the cafe together, not just outside but inside. So I'm feeling and also smelling very much of animals. So today's topic is music and animals. And I'll talk about the pieces which you already know, I'm sure, but there are many pieces you might not know. So therefore, I hope that after today's program, you'll find something totally new and discover and go listen to those new pieces. First, if you say animals in music, I'm sure most people would identify songs, Carnival of Animals, in which very famous cello solo, Swan, or Lion, the beginning of the piece, or very famous tortoise, Turtle, in which he mocks that Offenbach's very, very fast music in a very slow pace by strings. So that as well as cuckoo and many other wonderful animals. But not only the Saint-Saëns does a great job in that piece, but many other composers have tried to depict the music in animals in music. And another things you might know is many titles of opera, operetta. For example, Puccini's Madame Butterfly, also La Rondine, which is the swallow. Especially swallow is now their babies trying to fly away from their nest. And then of course, Swan Lake, and then Johann Strauss' Die Fledermaus, that's a bat, but that's a nickname of a character, so not quite the depiction of the animals by the music. But early as the Baroque period, I'm sure you have heard of Vivaldi. Vivaldi, famous for his writing of seasons, 4 seasons. He has written 6 flute or recorder concertos, Opus 10. Number 3 is called Il Galderino. That's a goldfinch. So as you can hear in the really first part of first movement, you hear both flute solo and the strings going each other. There are lots of birds in supposedly somewhere in the garden or the plaza. So it's very depiction, animated composition technique that the composer has utilized to show what kind of animal behaviors and sounds they could make. And the next, I must say, one of the most influential in the really early part of animating music making is by Haydn. Sometimes Haydn is known as the father of symphonies because he wrote 104 symphonies, but in his especially oratorio, he has written 2, Seasons and the Creation. He has written amazingly animated, descriptive music, in which he wrote first soprano aria, which he describes, well, God created many birds, eagle, nightingale, quail. But second part of that, he wrote for bass recitative, describing the creation of animals. In Bible, it says God said, be fruitful and multiply. And that's how the animals started to exist, in which the roaring lion, leaping tiger, and he goes on, and then he even describes insects. At the end, very, very soft, the music goes down to describing the worm. In this oratorio, he uses contrabassoon and many wonderful new instruments to really go after many high range as well as low range of the instrumental sound. That's another innovative thing that Haydn has done. Then a little bit about Beethoven. Of course, Beethoven has indeed written about the music of animals. It's about the birds. It's a pastoral symphony, second movement. At the end, he writes these three birds with the three different instruments. Flute is describing nightingale. Oboe is describing quail. And then clarinet describing cuckoo. And so it's a very, very highly calculated, but suddenly after the middle, beautiful ti-ra-ta-ta-ra-ta-ta-ra-ta-ta. But at the end, the three individual instruments depicting these three birds. Next piece I talk about is not orchestra piece, but by Schubert. I'm sure you know the Trout Quintet. First of all, it's a piano quintet. Usually piano quintet is string quartet plus piano, but in this case only one violin, and then he uses bass, contrabass. So that's an unusual combination. And then why is it called Trout Quintet? It's because in the last movement he uses his own composition, the earlier written song about trout. And so based on that as a theme, he creates variation movement. So that's what he did. It's a lovely piece, obviously, so everyone should know. And now I'll talk a little bit about later the composers depicting different kind of animals. Now the Bartók Hungarian sketches, in which he talks about dancing bear. So it's not just how they sound, but almost like character, behavior. So it is very exciting, but very kind of awkward. So it's more of an impression, not just the realistic figure. And Rimsky-Korsakov, Russian composer, he has written about the golden cockerel, but I'm sure you know that from Tale of the Tsar, Sultan, the flight of bumblebee, very buzzy, flying. I'm sure everybody knows. But very similar piece, but the Vaughan Williams, another composer, he wrote a Wasp Overture. So it's a buzzy sound. He created a much bigger piece. Another master orchestrator was Richard Strauss. In his Alpine Symphony, huge piece about alpine mountains, in the one scene with the meadows, he has a cowbells and very much farming animal sounding. He asks for both oboes and E-flat clarinet player to do a flutter turn. That creates the imitation of sheep sound. How innovative is that? No other composer has done that before him. So that's, and then later on, the composer has used actual recording of the animal sounds. First of which is Respighi, Italian composer Respighi, in his piece called Pines of Rome. In the end of slow movement, he asks the recording of the birds. And I remember one time when I was in Michigan, one of the orchestra, because of technical malfunction, this recording didn't sound. We were making a joke backstage that somebody shot those birds off, so that's why they didn't appear. That was funny. And another recording usage I must share with you. I don't think many of you might know, but a Romanian-American composer named Alan Hovhaness, who used to live in Seattle, he wrote a piece called "And God Created the Great Whales," in which he uses the recording of actual whales talking, conversation. First time in actual pitch, second time twice as slow, so the pitch goes a little lower and you can hear. And the second time even lower, another octave. They go that kind of sound. So that's a very innovative new idea. And I would say that not last but not the least, I must share another composer and great piece. It's by French composer Charles Koechlin. He didn't write many pieces. He was also a teacher, but he had a piece called Le Bandelot. It is based on the Animals, the Jungle Book, Kipling's Jungle Book, in which I'm sure if you have read the book, it's about the monkeys and monkeys' behavior. And so there are not too many music in the history of Western music depicting monkeys. So this is one very unique piece. And you can tell this wild side, clever side, and the little comical side, and the little eccentric and the crazy side. So I hope you have a chance to listen to, again, Charles Koechlin's Le Bandelot. I hope you'll enjoy the monkey music. Thank you again for listening, and hopefully next time we'll talk about something very, very unique, which is about nature. So thank you again for inviting me today. So, well, I hope everybody say hi. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.